Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a massive political storm that's shaking the very core of Eastern Europe, the ongoing Belarus Uprising of 2025, where more than 100,000 protesters have flooded the streets demanding the resignation of President Alexander Lukashenko. This is not just another protest. This is a movement that symbolizes years of frustration, oppression, and defiance against one of Europe's longest-serving leaders. What's happening in Belarus right now could redefine the nation's future and potentially alter the balance of power across the region. For decades, Lukashenko has ruled Belarus with an iron fist, often referred to as Europe's last dictator. He's maintained control through strict security forces, limited political opposition, and close ties with Russia. But in 2025, that grip is slipping. The streets of Minsk and other major cities have erupted with chants of freedom for Belarus. And Lukashenko must go. The scenes are unlike anything the country has witnessed since the disputed 2020 elections. Protesters from all walks of life, students, workers, teachers, and even retired citizens have united under a single demand: the end of Lukashenko's decades-long rule. The spark that ignited this massive protest came after reports of widespread government corruption, economic stagnation, and the alleged arrest of several opposition leaders. Inflation has been hitting ordinary citizens hard, wages are stagnant, and food prices have soared. Many Belarusians feel abandoned, struggling to survive under a government that seems more interested in preserving its own power than in helping its people. When videos of police brutality and arbitrary arrests began circulating online, they triggered outrage across the nation. Within days, the movement grew from small local demonstrations to nationwide protests involving over 100,000 people. The government's response has been predictably harsh. Riot police have been deployed across key cities, and reports indicate that hundreds of protesters have already been detained. Yet, despite the fear and intimidation, the people are refusing to back down. The more the authorities crack down, the more determined the crowds become. In Minsk, protesters have occupied Independence Square, turning it into a powerful symbol of resistance. Banners calling for Lukashenko's resignation wave in the cold wind as the people chant for change, freedom, and justice. Internationally, the reaction has been mixed. Western nations, including members of the European Union and the United States, have condemned the government's use of force and called for dialogue. Sanctions against key Belarusian officials are being discussed, and statements of support for the protesters have poured in. However, Russia has taken a different stance. Moscow continues to back Lukashenko, viewing Belarus as a crucial buffer zone against NATO's eastern expansion. Analysts warn that if the situation continues to escalate, Belarus could become the center of a geopolitical standoff between the West and Russia, a potential repeat of the Ukraine crisis. The question now is whether Lukashenko can survive this wave of dissent. In the past, he's managed to crush opposition movements through a combination of fear, control of the media, and support from the Kremlin. But this time feels different. The protesters are more organized, tech-savvy, and united than ever before. Social media platforms like Telegram, formerly Twitter, and TikTok have become vital tools for coordination and spreading awareness. Despite government attempts to shut down the internet, information keeps flowing through proxy networks and encrypted apps. Every arrest, every violent crackdown is being recorded and shared globally within minutes. Observers on the ground describe the atmosphere as both tense and inspiring. There's fear in the air, but also hope. Many young Belarusians who grew up knowing only Lukashenko's rule are now standing on the front lines, shouting that they want a future free from dictatorship. Teachers, doctors, and factory workers have joined hands, forming human chains as a peaceful display of unity. Even some former police officers and members of the security services have reportedly refused to follow orders to suppress protesters, signaling cracks within the regime's control apparatus. As the protests continue, the economy is taking a severe hit. Businesses are shutting down, public transportation has been disrupted, and international investors are pulling out. The Belarusian ruble is in freefall, and citizens are queuing up outside banks to withdraw their savings. But for many, this economic pain is worth enduring if it means freedom from decades of oppression. The protesters have made it clear that they're willing to sacrifice comfort for the chance of real change. The opposition leaders in exile are playing a key role in sustaining momentum. Figures like Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya have been vocal in calling for international support and fair elections. Exiled Belarusians around the world have organized rallies in solidarity, from Warsaw to London and New York. The global Belarusian diaspora is amplifying the message. The people of Belarus want democracy, not dictatorship. At the same time, Lukashenko has been attempting to paint the protesters as foreign-backed extremists, accusing NATO and Western intelligence agencies of orchestrating the unrest. He's claimed that Belarus is under attack from the West, trying to rally nationalist sentiment to his side. But even within his own government, trust appears to be eroding. Some insiders have reportedly fled the country, fearing they might be blamed if the regime collapses. Military involvement remains a dangerous possibility. While the army has largely stayed in the barracks so far, there are reports of Lukashenko considering deploying military units if the police fail to control the uprising. That could lead to a bloodbath and international condemnation. Analysts suggest that if the military refuses to intervene or sides with the protesters, it could mark the end of Lukashenko's rule. The world is watching closely as this crisis unfolds. The people of Belarus have shown extraordinary courage in the face of repression, standing firm against one of Europe's most entrenched authoritarian regimes. Their fight is not just about one man or one government, it's about reclaiming their nation's dignity and right to self-determination. Whether this movement succeeds or not, it has already changed the country forever. The spirit of resistance is alive, and no amount of fear can extinguish it. For the first time in decades, Belarusians are daring to dream of a democratic future, one where leaders are chosen by the people, not imposed by force. The chants echoing through the streets "Belarus will be free" are not just words, they are the heartbeat of a nation awakening. As we watch history being written in real time, one thing is certain: the Belarusian people have sent a message to the world. They will no longer be silent. Lukashenko may still hold the reins of power today, but the tide of change is rising fast, and even the strongest regimes cannot stand forever against the will of the people. The uprising of 2025 could very well be remembered as the moment when Belarus began its journey toward freedom, democracy, and hope.